by the name of KF's the Boss, and we are
Rock the Room Podcast.
Yes.
back.
Oh, I'm DJ Shay Money, honey.
And y'all already know it's your boy Reggie Doe, Mr. Show My Live himself.
DJ CU, stay cutting up. Fuck you mean?
Mr. Cutting Up. Yo, we got a
Still
special
cutting
guest,
up.
y'all, today. Somebody super dope. You know, I've been admiring this guy for many years, and he's done a lot of impeccable stuff in the industry. I want to introduce my special guest, Mr. Tarboy. What's up, Mr.
What's
Tarboy?
the word? What's the
Hey,
word?
yeah.
What's
What
the
up, Tar?
word?
Top boy in the
How
building.
y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
The boy.
We blessed. I'm definitely glad you're here. You know, I've been in your DMs talking to you for a while, trying to get to know you a little bit better, because, you know, I've been admiring your music for many years. You've been
And
doing
we
a
got
lot
to
of stuff.
we got to definitely have that meeting.
We gotta have that meeting. We've been missing each other on that meeting.
We gotta definitely have that meeting.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna definitely get there. But I just want to start off because something that I did my research on you first of all, right? Mm-hmm. And it was one thing that they didn't say on while I was researching. So who are the two artists that you received Grammy nominations for?
I received a Grammy nomination for Nelly's Air Force Ones and Nappy Roots Pofos.
But yeah, Nappy Roots. See, that's what got me, because I was like, dang, because when I did my research, it didn't say that you got the Grammy for it. It was just saying, you know, I was.
I didn't win a Grammy.
You got the nomination.
We nominated.
Yeah,
for those
you got
two
the
songs,
nomination.
Those two records.
Yeah.
I didn't know you did Air Force Ones.
Yep.
That's
we
what's
did.
up.
We did
I
Nelly's
remember
Air Force
Fofos,
Ones.
too.
Yeah.
Yep. Back in the
my
day, did a lot of records.
See, when I got hip to Toy Boy, man, he was working with Jaquan, man, and he was fucking the city up, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you went at a Jaquan and Toy Boy party, man, especially at the house out in North County,
Out McDonald Boulevard.
you was a nobody.
You wasn't hit
Bro,
if you wasn't going.
If
huh?
you went at the Palace Saints or Toy Boy in them house, you was a
You was
nobody,
square,
bro.
L7.
Man, I'm just saying.
Hey, we had a lot of fun back then.
I think the first time I met Shorty was at your house, and
Probably.
that's when he was a kid.
Yeah, like
I was
Shorty.
like, who was this little boy at the party?
Yeah,
he
me-
was a baby.
Like me and Shorty go back to where Shorty was about this high, man. Like
was.
Shorty was a kid. Like,
Long white tee braids.
oh, that's the original Shorty there. That's the original Shorty
Yes, yeah.
So he
Shorty
had
the
the
Prince.
braids with the long
Long
teeth.
braids, like Bow Wow, St. Louis Bow Wow.
Oh wow!
he did.
I remember on 106 in Park, and I remember the kid because he had so much energy and stuff like that.
This was
Oh,
way
no, this is
before.
when he was like an
Before
This was
Yeah.
before,
Before
way
that, yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't understand, like Shorty, if anybody
12.
in St. Louis has been seasoned for how they are, Shorty is that. Like my fault, Reggie's son these days, but Shorty is that. Like
Watch them grow up.
when I first met Shorty, it was like back in the Dwight Stone days on the radio station.
What?
Yeah,
Damn,
like yeah, like we talking about when Shorty was on the air. I think it was like Saturday mornings. Like he was giving him a shot at it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like Shorty, like he's always been groomed for that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why even like you know me, I talk about everything. If I'm gonna be on there, I'm like that's why with all the controversy with him that's popped up, I'm like, that ain't Shorty groomed for this. That's not that's not him at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's very well seasoned with this. You know what I'm saying? And he's been around the United States doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Shout out to Shorty.
Yeah, shout out to Shorty. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Well, how was the connection? How did you and Jaquan come about, man? Because I like when y'all hit the spotlight, it's like y'all just foot was on the gas, no letting up, man.
But I met Jaquan through his management at the time, who was BD, Sean Caldwell. Sean Caldwell, BD, had been managing a group called Eternity back in the day. And I had did a song called Hush for him. So coming off of all that, we had got the label deal at Abyss at Atlantic Records. You know what I'm saying? That was back in the early 2000s and all that. But in between that time, BD had brought me Jaquan. And he was like, look, I got this little dude. You know what I'm saying? And he was just telling me, he was like, man, little dude was homeless at 15.
Right.
And I had him with me. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, Tor, like, I don't trust nobody else with this little dude. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about him? And then when I first met him and first heard him, I was like, man, little dude got a shot.
So
you know
what
what
was
I'm
this,
saying?
like 05, 06?
No, we talking
that?
about 03. Quan came out in 204.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we talking like though I got Quan after I did Po Folks Air Force Ones. It was like it's like right in that gap. But in between that gap also was Abyss. You know what I'm saying? When people keep saying about label deals in St. Louis, the fact of the matter was Ragged Out had the first label deal in St. Louis.
Okay.
We got $1 million for Abyss from Atlantic Records in St. Louis. It was the same time when Nelly got signed and Nelly came out when his first album. We had a label deal with Catch 22 with Abyss back in the day, during that time frame. You know what I'm saying? And in between that is when I got Jaquan.
So what made you want to get into it though? Like what kind of influenced you to get into the music industry?
What really made me want to get into the music business is my cousin. My cousin's the drummer for Kid Rock. She a female. She a female
that's
drummer.
so hard.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
I love female drumming.
and she's older than me. So like me watching her all that time, and then also I was the type of kid, you know what I'm saying, that like to take apart radios. I was one of them dudes. Like take apart radios, put it back together, and all that. So like me seeing her doing that, and then you know I came up rapping like. I don't care who you was rapping back in the day.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all we knew how to do.
That's
was
right.
rap. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day. But then when I started to see production, I immediately fell in love with the creation of it. You know what I'm saying? I was one of those guys that was just like, damn, how they put that shit? I can cuss on here, right? Like how they put that shit together? You know what I'm saying? So after a while, I just became fond of that and just started studying more and more. You know what I'm saying? And I had help. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, like. Back in the day, the producers I looked up to was Steve Blast. He from her. You know what I'm saying? He did What You Call It on What You Call It's album. On the Saint Lunatics album, he did Batter Up.
I love Batter Up.
Yep, Steve Blast. And then there was another dude before that I grew up with. God bless his soul, was KD, a dude named Kill 'Em Dead. And he passed away in a studio fire back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So like he was really, those two dudes, if I had to say, were dudes who I looked at that was before me that was doing it in St. Louis. Now it was other dudes like Hype Dog, like it was a bunch of other people before them, not a bunch, but a few of us. But when it came to production, those were the names like in St. Louis. It wasn't like how it is now. It might have been 4 people making beats,
Right.
and it might have been 50 rapping. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like how it is now. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody
I heard also. Didn't you have another deal with Def Jam as well?
I had a deal like. I had Atlantic with God bless his soul, a guy named Big Mark and Nail with Ragdown. Big Mark passed away a week ago. You know what I'm saying? So that was my first deal. My second deal I had was with Arista. That was Jaquan. Then I had we had Atlantic. The deal we had with Atlantic was before that. Was with Ragdown. Then we had Jaquan at Arista / So Def. Then I had Ebony Eyes at Capitol. Then I had my own deal at Def Jam.
Okay.
Then I also had Shorty at Atlantic.
So you know what's funny is years ago, you know Ethiopia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So me and Ethiopia, I was on tour at that time with or was it Neo? We was on tour with Neo. And she was talking about Tarboy. And I was like, I heard Tarboy because, you know, that's when Jaquan was hot. And I'm like, who is this guy? She was like, he the hottest thing. He da-da-da-da. And everybody kept talking about you. And I remember when I first came to St. See, I never knew you was from St. Louis because I'm from the West Coast originally, right?
Okay. Gotcha.
So coming out here and everybody's talking about Tarboy. I'm like, Tarboy here? Because, you know, I knew you from the industry. So, you know, I knew you in a different light. And what kept you so rounded to stay at home doing as much as you did and still being so true to the city? Because the city loves you.
Well, what kept me here a lot was mistakes. To be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, coming up early in my career, I made a lot of mistakes. And I don't look at them as mistakes more. I look at them as, like, blessings. You know what I'm saying? And let me explain what I mean by that. Like, when you take, like, you being from the West Coast, and then you can take people that came from the South, and you can take people that came from the East. They all had something that we didn't have here in St. Louis.
Okay.
Meaning this. When somebody on the East or West Coast wakes up every day and they're in the music business, they can go down a mile and have a meeting with somebody that's bigger than them.
Right. Yeah.
And they can learn from them and they can grow. You know what I'm saying? Us being in the Midwest, we never learned from the business aspect that early how to grow where we're at. when I went outside to play back in the day, you know what I'm saying, when we was on, we was the richest shit in town.
Yes.
Right.
We didn't have nobody. I couldn't go up the street and talk to Russell Simmons or Jimmy Iovine like Dre and them could say like, hey, little dog, this is what you do. This is how you move. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have the same resources as a Puff did or anybody on the West or a JD did down south with L.A. Reid and all them. All we had was us.
That's right.
And when I look at all the coast that was connected to us, we was the hot thing for the moment. So they was all grasping onto us to actually build up their revenue, not to build up our town.
Right.
You kind of see what I'm saying? Like when I look at the success of the Nellies, the Jaquans, the Chingies, even the Sexy Reds right now, it's no reason why we shouldn't have a major label office down in Clayton. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at those things, I look at the mistakes. That's why I'm talking about mistakes. I look at the mistakes that I made. You know what I'm saying? When you come from having, okay, we all got some type of street nigga in us. So when you come from having 40,000 in your pocket in the streets back in the day, you was rich.
Right.
You give a young nigga like us $1 million, $2 million, we didn't made it.
What?
But you ain't made it.
Right.
You kind of see what I'm saying? So the mistakes we made back then, you know what I'm saying, is the reason why I've been here for so long. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not saying it's bad and not saying it's good. It's just the reason. You know what I'm saying?
It's real.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to ask a question because I'm one of them guys that had everybody the resources. I started out with the Rough Riders, so I get where you coming from. I want to know like publishing. How did you really understand your checks, not knowing the industry at that time? Because a lot of young cats, especially then when the labels came out here. They talked this sweet game, and a lot of the shit wasn't about publishing. When did you make that understanding of your publishing?
Okay, let me reverse back to before Ragdoll was formed. I went to a music school in Atlanta for music business in the mid to early 90s.
It was the AI, right?
No, Art Institute of Atlanta.
Yep.
Yep, I went there, and along that time period, I was able to learn a lot in school there, but also I learned a lot from a lawyer named Jess Rosen. Jess Rosen was part of Cat Smith and Co. Like the people don't know, I'm speaking big names in the industry like Cat Smith.
I know.
You know what it was like? Katz and all Joe Katz and all them were like the biggest lawyers in that time period. So when we got with Ragdoll, I kept on telling like Mark and Nell them, hey, we got to get in with Joe Katz. We got to get in with Joe Katz. And Mark was the type of person that could network into any building. So I had moved back to St. Louis and got in with them, and they networked and got us in with Joe Katz. Joe was he was like, I'm going to give you guys to my other lawyer that's part of the firm, Jess Rosen. One of the best, dopest lawyers I've ever met in my life.
Absolutely.
One of the most powerful. And like, he was the type of lawyer that just wasn't like, hey, sign this, sign that. He was like, this is how this works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed to have met somebody so early in my first deal in my career to understanding, and all my deals early protected me very, very well. So after a while, I just started resourcing myself and learning like, damn, okay, this is this, and this. Like, oh, it's two types of publishing. Who owns the master recording and who owns the composition? Oh, the record label owns the masters, but they got to pay the mechanicals for the publishing. Oh, the composition is paid. That's where BMI and ASCAP and them come in. Oh, when it's a sync licensing, you got to pay for the master and it. I just started clicking with me. You know what I'm saying? So over the years, I just knew it. You know what I'm saying? And I always knew in the business from being down in Atlanta early that you always follow the money when it comes to the music game.
Right.
The money is the end result.
Period.
You mean, and I mean for anything. If you want to follow who's going to be successful, you can follow how much money is being pumped and where it's being pumped at into that artist, and you could almost pinpoint this artist going to hit. You kind of see what I'm saying? I was just lucky enough that early in the day that I had the right people around me that were. Now, don't get me wrong. It was some publishing. I'm not going to comment on it. It was some licks I took early with publishing, but it might have been for just a song or something. It was no long-term beating I ever took with it. But I was always the type of person that I wasn't scared that if you gave me a 100-page contract, I'm finna read this whole thing. And if I don't understand a word in it, I'm gonna go look that word up in the dictionary to see what it means, and then I'm gonna come back to that. I was that type of person. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny because I come from the label standpoint, right? And it used to mess me up because I knew what the contract said but I worked for a company, you know? And it was just 1% of Tarboys coming in the office
that actually knew what they
that actually, you know, and it's sad because, you know, it be these artists. We used to be able to say, especially back in our day when we first started, you know, 10 grand was a lot on the sign-on bonus back then.
What you give me 10 grand? I'm out of here.
10 grand. It's sad because I won't say no name, but I mean, we don't took their hearts away for 10 grand, and not me per se, because I just was a paper pusher, you know. I just pushing the paper.
You doing business. That's
I'm doing business,
yeah.
you know, and to sit there and look at the music industry and see a person like you who actually understood publishing, that's a rarity in today's society. There's so many people right now, artist-wise, in today where the internet and everything's so accessible, still don't take the time to learn publishing.
People don't like reading.
They don't like reading.
Like people don't listen. In this business, you have the people that just like doing the art and enjoy that.
Right.
Then you have people like me that enjoy both sides of it. Like I really love both sides of it. Like I love figuring out how the money is made along with the art.
Right.
Then you have the people that just like to sit in the office and look at numbers and just make the money. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of artists don't have access to somebody that loves them for real.
That's right.
That knows. Now they can have access to somebody that loves them and want to see this best, but just because you want to see this best don't mean that you can give me advice.
That's right.
That makes sense. You kind of see what I'm saying?
That's right.
And from like, I got a rule with artists. I don't believe there's no such thing as a fuck deal. I honestly don't. I believe it's only a fuck deal depending on your position at that time. Meaning this, at that time, if you worth 200,000 and you take 100,000, you fucked.
That's a fuck deal.
But if you ain't worth shit and somebody offer you 15,000, it's a good deal. Nobody's first deal before they sold a record is a favorable deal. It don't
It's
work
not.
like that.
It's not.
I figure you pay two types of dues in this business. You pay dues before you get in the door, then you pay in the door dues.
Okay.
You kind of see what I'm saying?
Right.
Once you get in the door, that ain't guaranteed that you own. Right. You got to pay those dues inside that door. And the way you pay those dues is if somebody's going to put $1.2 million into your career and you ain't sold a record, you know what I'm saying? After you sell $2 million, of course they motherfucking benefited off of you highly. But then you renegotiate and you get a better situation at that time. And it makes it better for you. I just believe that you got to take your position that you in at that moment and say, okay, we building a house. Can I put another brick on this house to get further at this time? I don't believe in a fuck deal. If you talk to many of these artists, all of their deals wasn't best when they first got signed. But look at them now.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about these guys that want to, like, I'm nothing wrong with staying independent. But tell me a billionaire that's independent in this business right now.
None. But you know, let's talk about that too with the independent field, because I had an argument with somebody not too long ago about the independent. If you're getting distributed through TuneCore, through DistroKid, you're not independent, because the same platform is still owned by the majors.
And here's the problem. The game is so all wove together, meaning like from the distribution to the marketing to the understanding that it's almost unfair that you can't stay independent to blow.
That's right.
Like you, and I'm gonna tell everybody like this too, no matter how independent you think you are, it's a number that won't make you independent no more.
That's right.
It's a number that you gonna look at it, you gonna say, hold on, man, how many motherfuckers he was outside this motherfucker?
How long?
Oh, yeah, sign me on up.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The artists that we look up to. You know what I'm saying? We look up to Jay. We look up to motherfucking Dr. Dre. No matter people want to admit it or not, we look up to Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Now, all the troubles he had, we look up to Diddy. I'm not talking about all the, there you go. Look, I'm not talking about all the problems. I'm talking about his success of what he's achieved as a black man in this music business.
He's achieved a lot.
You know what I'm saying? We look up to him.
A whole lot.
Look at them. They all took deals. I don't consider all those people to be uneducated and stupid. I think they're very smart.
Right.
So if they took deals, it's something along the path with the resources that these machines have that makes sense.
Yeah.
And here's what I would say to independent artists. Milk it as long as you can.
Right.
But when it's time to put that other brick on that house, it's
put
time
it
to put that other brick on the house.
I told boy, like even back in the day, bro. Like you always been a humble dude, an approachable dude. I remember seeing you back in like Spotlight, and like you were straight rap with people, conversating stuff, man. You ain't never been no fucked up dude, man. That's something I always admire about you, bro. And then like you in the industry and stuff, man. It's like how's your relationship with most of the artists from St. Louis that you done worked with?
I got like with all the artists from St. Louis I work with, like I ain't got nothing but love for them.
Right.
And majority, like, they gonna tell you they got love for me. Like, Quan, you call him right now, you gonna be like, that motherfucker made me rich. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I remember the red track boy jacket. You used to be
Yeah,
in the
like-
cup with the track boy. My baby mama got one of them jackets.
like in St. Louis, like, it's a lot of independent artists I work with now. I don't like calling out their names because I don't like doing that.
Right.
I like to really let the work speak for itself. Like, I don't like getting credit for a name being on something. I like the fans just to like the work. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because that's the only way to tell the truth about music. You know what I'm saying? We can't like a song just because Drake did it or this producer did it. We gotta like the record because
that
the
shit
record-
hot.
Because the shit's hot. And I really believe in that. Coming from the creator's point, I really believe in that. A lot of the artists in St. Louis that I love now, I love them because they are independent and they trying.
Right.
What I don't love about them is that they don't seem to want to get smarter about the business. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, you have some that are, but you have ones that I feel like that really have a chance that if they just really took time and said, okay, what is this business really about?
Right.
Their chance would be, nobody's guaranteed, but your chances, your odds become greater. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I think be their problem with that though? Because a lot of people say like, oh my God, talent. And they don't understand that talent really ain't much if you don't know the business that that talent is gravitated to or what it's for. Like, I could be the best damn thrower of a football, but that don't make me a great quarterback. No. If I don't know the business of the game, if I don't know that, hey, I got 2 seconds to throw this mug. what good is your arm talent?
Then
You know
on
what I'm
top
saying?
of
But
that-
a lot of rappers, they got delivery, they got flow, but they don't understand marketing and who they talking to or how to get the ears to listen to them. You know what I'm saying? To get their message out.
Then a lot of times, like, talent is just a matter of opinion. Like, at the end of the day, whether somebody's good or bad, that's personal opinion.
Right.
Business is business, though.
Regardless.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
regardless, like, talent, like, I've been wrong a lot of times on what I thought was bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I've been right sometimes, too. If everybody was always in this business right about picking talent, man, the industry would be worth gazillions of dollars.
That's
If
crazy.
he's an A&R and he could pick a hit record every time, you know what his value is in this business?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey, speaking of that, because he's so right about speak. She know what I'm. So do y'all? Only Shay probably know this one. Do y'all know 2 artists that I passed up and didn't sign?
Reggie Dub.
Tell them who the artist is.
Future,
I passed up on Future
Cardi B.
and Cardi B.
I argued with him on Cardi B too. I was like, she gonna be hot. She gonna make it.
I passed up on the 2, but at that time I was putting out YC. I was putting out the YC racks on racks, and I'm a loyal dude. So the fact that YC and Future was having a little beef at the time, I had to choose a side. Although I kind of knew Future had it because he had the machine behind him. Atlanta, he had St. Louis was behind him. It was Gucci or whatever. He had a good big machine behind him. But I was just loyal to who I was loyal to. So, it's sometimes it ain't even about the ear. Sometimes in this industry, relationships is key. And, I know me, I know you. We don't jeopardize our relationships.
Loyalty
is everything.
But also on top of that, on your side of the fence with that too, who knows that if he signed with you, how it would have ended up?
That's right.
Like you don't really know because it ended up right over here. You gotta see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like I used to tell a lot of artists, when you build a team and you're successful, if you take any piece of that cake away, it ain't the same cake no more. So with him being successful, if you take any of those pieces away or any of those steps they took, it might not have been successful.
That's right.
You kind of see what I'm saying?
That's right.
Your label at the time might not have seen the same vision or what songs to put out on him the same way.
That's
you
right.
kind of see what I'm saying? So Future's Future because it lined up right.
And everybody used to say, how you feel about that? And I used to say the same thing. I never tripped because it was God got for me, God got for me.
Yeah.
So we about to go into our intermission. So she gonna play a couple records for us.
Tarboy
Tarboy in the building.
Rock room.
Rock room.
Yeah, what's the word? What you heard?
What world? We back. Rock the Room podcast.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. So you know what? On our intermission, we had some great conversations. We was talking about the industry. So since we was already going there, Tarboy, we need to go there. It's a lot of artists out there really don't understand what it takes to be in the industry. And can you explain your early years of Tarboy, what it was? Because people just know this 20-time platinum producer, but before 20-time platinum, can you explain Tarboy, please?
Well, without me saying my age, but what I'm about to say, you's gonna date me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I was saying on the intermission, I remember getting out at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning and putting stickers and posters on bus stops.
Right.
Doing street team marketing like that.
Right.
I remember waiting by the mailbox for the UPS man. I don't think we had FedEx yet around this parts back then
UPS
to
Brown.
drop off all of these stickers we ordered from back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember the days of when street teams was really a street team.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember when to be on the radio, just hearing a record on the radio that you did was like, you won.
It was huge.
Yeah,
radio had value.
Radio had value. Not saying radio doesn't have value today, but radio back then was the value.
It
you know
was
what
the
I'm saying?
value.
If you got on the radio station, I remember so many listening to records. I remember when it was a new record being broke, usually it was done at midnight. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I remember the DJs. I remember when DJs they have power now, but I mean real power. Mm-hmm. When the DJs and the artists were all linked together and it really moved records. I remember those days.
And the DJs, it's funny now that you even talked about the DJs. The DJs today is scared to break a record. They scared to play records. Mm-hmm. One thing I can say about in our day of being in the industry is the DJs weren't scared to play a new Jaquan record. They would play them new records. They would play the records. And that's what I think we're lacking today is I think the industry now is too cool. They scared to put in the work.
I understand, and I don't offend a lot of stuff, but in this day and age, we don't have nobody that want to play their role.
That's right.
Everybody want to be the man.
That's right.
Everybody want to be the man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, even it took me a time period where I had to break out of where I'm doing a lot on Instagram and all that. But I grew up in the day and age a lot of times when it's cool to be the producer back behind the scenes and make the artist great.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And like with DJs, with the way things are today, I kind of understand where they're coming from. I don't feel like, in my opinion, that the industry took care of the DJs well enough.
Agreed.
When they really counted the most.
Agreed.
So now you have this type of rooted attitude with DJs that, hey, what you gonna do for me?
Right.
That's right.
And it didn't always start like that because it would have never been a Jay Quan, it never been a lot of these artists or even the Nellies if it wasn't for the DJs.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it was DJs along the path that didn't get treated correctly, that broke records.
That's right.
It was the ones that didn't get the credit. It was the ones who didn't get the financial benefits of breaking records. Right. So I understand both sides of it. You kind of see what I'm saying?
I do.
And to add to that though, it's a lot more to it because most DJs was back then definitely that's where you heard the new music. Nowadays, you get on your phone and find anything that you like by anybody. Right. And like we was talking earlier, it's so much out there. As a DJ, you really can't just sit down and listen to every song like, yo, this is finna be it, this is finna be it. Now, if that's your thing and that's what you spend most of your time doing, you can be pretty good at it. But for the most part, the people gonna request songs that they wanna hear. And a lot of people, like, basically, the internet break the music the most.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, by the time a lot of DJs get hip to something, it already got 6-7 million views on it. Right. But you look at that and it's like, okay, now I play it in a party. If 30 out of 50 people turning up to it, damn right, I'm finna keep playing this consistently. Let's see how many times this worked.
Yeah, but I still want to say, I still say they scared. I remember me and Kimmy News was talking about a record not too long ago, and we was talking about our DJs in-house. It's hard to get your own DJs to play a record. They scared to play records. Me and Tony Neal just had this conversation yesterday. I think he made a post about it.
Yeah, I seen a post that he said something about DJs scared to play records.
They are. They really are. Let me tell you something. It's cool with these popular records and all, but these DJs, see, the difference between we created a Kid Capri. We created a Funk Master Flex. Because they was part of them new artists breaking them records. These DJs don't understand the importance of getting with an artist and helping their career and building them. It's same like with you. B King would have never been known in this St. Louis market if Shay Money wasn't breaking the record. He never been in the market.
Yeah,
it's the facts. So when I say DJs are scared to break records, they scared to break records. How many independent records you put in your list right now? You put them all across the country. You can't be scared to break the records. And that's what I'm thinking about the music industry, what we have different from now, from people like me and people like you. We have to start educating these people about learning the importance of playing records or supporting records. We have to. That's our job as veterans in this game.
Tarboy, coming up 2000, man, who's some of your favorite DJs that was straight spinning your shit that you was straight rocking with, man? St. Louis.
Oh man, we can start off with DJ Chaos.
Shout out DJ
Cool.
Charlie Chan, Sir Thorough, DJ Cut.
Cuddy.
Shout out DJ Cut.
Man, DJ AJ, the Dirty DJ. Like I don't like saying that. It's so many of them that built us in St. Louis. Like the foundation, and those guys was like, they played records, man. Like,
right.
And let's go back to like how I told you, man.
DJ
like,
Snow. Let me it's so many of them. Like
you, but your humbleness, bro. Like it's like you never stood in the spotlight to take the spotlight from Jay Quan. You know, you went in the videos just doing
I had my 9 humble times, right. But you know what I'm saying? my 9 humble times in the strip clubs. I was not humble in the streets. Like
these are the facts.
Let's don't get confused. I was humble in the industry, but in these streets, I wasn't humble. Outside. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I just think that I always. Here's what okay. Let me break it down like this.
Humble times.
Like I see people who start record labels, and I see producers out here nowadays, right? And one of my biggest pet peeve about them is I see the name of their company, and I see the producer standing up saying I made this before they put the artist out there. How you not gonna make the product dope? Right. You kind of see what I'm saying? So like when it was Quan, I always knew Dr. Dre did not become Dr. Dre because he was just making beats, because NWA blew. Right. Because Eminem blew. Because 50 Cent blew. His product that he put out there was dope. So in my opinion, that's where it comes from with me. It's like, what? I'm just making beats or I'm producing records, but if I can't make this artist up here, I ain't shit.
That's right.
So why am I gonna get out here and yell, stand on couches, do all this bullshit, and the artists I'm making ain't selling records?
Right.
You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I'm a producer, my job is to make that dude into a superstar. That's my job. It ain't nothing else. And guess what? Once I make him into a superstar, I can stand on the couch then because I did my job.
So with the Air Force Ones, when that blew up, man, like, what was the vibe? I mean, what was it like, bro?
You know what? With Air Force Ones, man, that was like, to me, it caught me off guard.
Really?
Yeah, because like when I first heard it, Ali'll tell you, I was like, man, y'all finna talk about a shoe over this whole record, man? Like, so you gotta think about the times we were in back then. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think about, like, it's easy now once it happened to be like, oh, that shit hard.
Damn.
I was like, y'all like this beat and y'all finna talk about it? I was like, man, we finna make that shit dope to her. So when it blew up, I was like, damn, that was one of the ones that caught me off guard. And here's something else. I made the Air Force One's beat about 2 to 3 years before they picked to use it.
What?
Oh wow.
Yeah, like,
Man, product.
yeah, so
never
like,
get old.
at the end of the day, so it really caught me off guard. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, that shit
Because that was
worked.
one of the throwaways.
Yeah, like, but see, that's one of the beats that taught me there is no such thing as a throwaway.
Yeah.
That's one of the
Beats are
records
timeless.
when I learned that if you are creative and original, you're not time stamped.
Right.
Right.
If you're not a clone out here, if you're not trying to copy somebody else's sound and you really trying to do your own thing, at that moment, people might not catch on to where you at, but long as you original and you keep at it, sooner or later you'll have your time. Timberlands, Pharrell's, all the best have done it. You know what I'm saying? Like, in today's day and age, it's great to copy somebody else's sound. That's why I don't believe that a lot of these producers will be known years from now. Because all of them are making the same sound over and over. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard today. People don't accept, people's music palette is very thin these days compared to how it was with us. Back in the day, if you sounded like somebody else, you was whack.
You were. Absolutely.
You was whack. Nowadays, if you sound like somebody else, you
cool.
shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a difference. You know what I'm saying?
You sure right, because when one artist come out sound good, next thing you know, everybody else sounding like him, and it might be one out of the next 100 that make it, but still sound exactly like him. Like the Reds to Shine, I heard him, Rodway, Mo 3, like all these guys sound the same.
All of them, like they all, and it's hard at that point. It's really hard to pinpoint who produced that record.
Right.
Yeah. You can't hear the production in it. You know what I'm saying? You just like, okay, I know it's going to be the same tempo. They're going to use basically the same instruments. They're going to use the same type of breaks. And it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Different words.
And eventually, though, because music is music,
right,
that time will come to an end to where you can feed somebody so much for so long to where they hate it. And then once they hate it, the original side will come back around. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
Or we won't listen to music no more.
Is Tarboy fucking with the Metro Boomin movement?
Like, in what manner? Like, what do you mean? Like
him as a producer, beat maker, like just...
Hell, listen. Anybody that ever came out this motherfucker that has sold one record, I'm fucking with them. I know how hard it is to do something in this business. You know what I'm saying? What Metro Boomin has achieved being from here is not good. It's fucking great.
Phenomenal.
You know what I'm saying? So anybody's movement like that, I'm fucking with. You know what I'm saying? Metro Boomin didn't have to ask nobody, beg nobody. He did it from the grind. You know what I'm saying? I hear so many people that haven't had success out of here blame it on other people's shit.
Yes.
I never heard nothing come out that man's mouth that why he's not where he was at in the beginning was somebody else's fault. You know what I'm saying? I mess with anything like that, like Sexy Red, fucking incredible. Never asked nobody for shit. Did it her way, in her style. How can you not be in this business and respect that?
You know what's crazy? They, at one point, they stopped letting that girl perform in the city. Heard 3 Problems, a lot of them youngsters that had motion in 2017, but it was a lot of stuff cracking off. people fighting and the shows getting shut down.
Yeah.
And
first
that
one.
really slowed her motion. She could have been pop like pre-COVID.
But you know what?
Timing.
You know why I say
Pre-COVID.
that? No. What you just said is right and it's wrong. Meaning this, it didn't slow her motion. It had to line up. That Take Keith record had to be done that way.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That Take Keith record, like I don't look at it like you do. Everybody, nobody's date is the same of when you blow.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no rules to when you're going to blow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She never fucking stopped. I'm sure it was time in her career when she was like, man, this shit ain't gonna work. I need to do this. I need to do that.
That was one of them times because there was a lot of people like on her, like, no, man, you gotta keep going, gotta keep going.
But that's dope how you say the pattern is. Like
You-
you
you
said when you
100%
passed
correct.
when you passed up on dude, he said when none supposed like that process right there,
Yeah.
it probably would have went a whole different way. Or
He didn't make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Because Future blew.
Mm-hmm.
See, I look at it like that too. Like, if I see an artist and I'm like, man, this motherfucker dope. And that motherfucker blows up and I didn't have nothing to do with it, I can still say, man, that it worked out right for that person.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like from a business end, in his mind, he's like, man, I fucked up. But from somebody who loves music, that shit happened right. You
It
know what I'm
did.
saying? Like, it happened right. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny because everybody asks me the same question, and I say the exact same thing he said. Like, I'm cool. Like, I didn't make a mistake. I didn't see the vision that somebody else saw. I can't get mad if somebody else see a different vision than what I saw. I could never get mad.
How can you be mad at that if you can see everybody's vision clear? Man, you God.
I'm God.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I can't see I can see what I believe somebody's path is.
That's right.
But that don't mean I'm right.
That's right.
You kind of see what I'm saying?
That's right.
All I can do is add on what I feel. And if, like, it's a lot of music that I don't fucking feel.
Right.
But I'm honest enough now over years to say, that don't mean you not gonna make it, bro.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You still might blow up to be the biggest thing ever. But
It's just
I
not for
don't
me.
feel it.
Yeah.
And you don't want me to be forced to feel something I don't to work towards
Right,
in this
right.
business. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not the best person for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So how did you go from? This is really mind-boggling to me, to be honest with you. How did you go from Air Force Ones, being from St. Louis, to the Nappy Roots? Like, that's
no, it went from
Roots to Air Force
well, no, you're right. Air Force One's beat was made before Nappy Roots. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Air Force Ones wasn't. Let me just tell you my thought process. Back then, I never wanted to make beats that sounded alike. I always was like, I want to make things to broaden my range. So if I made something that sounded like this, I would try my hardest never to make something else sound like that.
That's right.
Which is good and bad. Which is good because you can make a lot of stuff for a lot of different artists. But it becomes bad when you think about you never create a sound that people can signature pick on.
Signature.
Right.
They can say that that's you.
Like
I can name a lot of beats I made. Like if you listen to Jay Quan's Tipsy, right? But then you listen to Hood Hop.
Hood Hop is my favorite.
You'll be
beat.
like, how in the hell is that? But then you go listen to like shit like on 112's album, My Mistakes, that I did. Then I did songs with song for Angie Stone. Like if you listen to certain things, you'll be like, how in the fuck was he able to do that? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times I just was trying not to make what I already made.
That makes
You
sense.
kind of see what I'm saying? You know, and I think L.A. Reid said it the best, was like, the music that I make that feeds my soul ain't the same as that I make to sell.
Period.
You kind of see what I'm saying? So like, and you gotta also go back to where I initially grew love for music. It came through my cousin, and she was more into rock and roll. So my palette of music, of listening, went forward. Like I would listen to back in the day Nirvana, Gwen Stefani, the beginning of Gwen Stefani. You know what I'm saying? Like then I would go listen to LL Cool J. Then I would listen to Motley Crue. Then I would just listen to so much different music that I was like, damn, you could find a way to make all this work for different artists. Then I didn't want to be just assigned to one type of artist. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be able to go in there and have some musical knowledge to be able to work with a lot of different type of artists. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
you understood top 40s at an early age.
What? I knew the difference between an underground hit and a Billboard top 100 hit.
Yeah, 100%.
And it was one thing that I understood more about that. Look at this motherfucker's car.
And look at that motherfucker's car. Yeah.
I understood that early.
Bingo.
These cars ain't the same cars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They not driving the same cars.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So is there anybody out like that you like to work with now? Anybody that could, you know what I'm saying?
Like, I've always been the type of producer where I never search for mainstream artists. If you ever pay attention to my career, when I first worked with Nappy Roots, they wasn't known.
Right.
Like I worked D12 and Eminem when we did that record. They was known, but if you look at everybody else, they were newer type acts. I like working with newer type acts because I feel like the older acts always stay in their comfort zone.
Right.
Meaning like if you were an older act and you became successful, it's hard for you to come out that box and try new things. You know what I'm saying? Newer acts, when they get in there with new producers, they willing to try anything to make, and that's what make the classics. That's what make that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what make. If you can break a new act to me out of nowhere, I mean, take somebody with a clean palette, and you could help paint them into something major. That's when you a dope producer to me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not dope because I didn't win and got a song on Jay-Z who already sold 10 million records and I put a song on him and it's to me, that don't make me dope. What makes me dope is grabbing something from nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Is there anybody?
Sorry. So was the Tipsy record, was that like the first, when you first started working with Jaquan?
No, Tipsy actually was the last.
Really?
Tipsy came the last record we put on the album. The first record was Hood Hop.
Hood Hop was the shit.
You know what I'm saying? And really, we made but things work for a record. Like in Quan's defense, Quan is known to be, you know what I'm saying, nowadays, is a one-hit wonder. But I don't think anybody really, Quan might have said this once, but I'm gonna say it from a business standpoint. When Quan's album came out, we didn't have a record label. Right. See, people don't know that Arista folded in the middle of Quan's album. We were signed to Arista with L.A. Reid, and we came out on Jive.
Right.
So when Tipsy was bubbling and everything was going on, all of a sudden after that, boom, L.A. Reid lost his job. Boom, we like, what the fuck? We headed to a whole nother, you understand, when you get headed to another whole record label, it is like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's funny you said that because I remember my Rough Rider days with DNY. Shout out DNY. That's when they were getting in that trouble going back to Baltimore. You know, you remember them cases they had. So they took me. I was working for them, and they took me to a company called Bodog. You remember Bodog Music? They was actually a gambling company, right? And I'm sitting there with Bodog at a new label, sitting there, and they doing this rock and roll, and I'm so lost on it. So that's the thing. What happened back in the day is, like, what he was explaining is, like, when they shut down, it's like they sold you to a whole nother outfit.
Yeah, you went to a whole nother...
New regime, new everybody.
New CEOs, new...
everything.
The only thing we had with us was Memph Hitch and JD. But the biggest mistake that we had with that was Hood Hop should have came out before Tipsy. Because once we had the Tipsy audience, Hood Hop wasn't going to work. Hood Hop was street, grimy, rough, rugged. Jaquan became a pop star. We already did Saturday Night Live. We already did MTV and all that. We kind of went backwards with that. You know what I'm saying? It should have never came out. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, Hood Hop should have never been his next single. His next single should have been Show Your Ass featuring Ebony Eyes. That would have fit right into the same...
Because it make you want to dance.
It would have been...
Tipsy definitely made you want to dance. I remember the first day I moved to St. Louis in 2004, the Tipsy video was being shot at my family's house in U City. And I was at that video, and that was my introduction to St. Louis. I was in the video. That's why I met everybody.
She was like, damn, St. Louis jumping.
I was like, St. Louis is like lit.
I heard you say mention Memph Hitch name. So did you ever work with Huey?
No, I never worked with Huey personally, but Myth Hits. But I always was a fan of Huey. And the thing about it was with Myth Hits, Jaquan was the first act that Myth Hits signed.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Huey got signed to Hits Committee, which Myth Hits met through St. Louis connections. You know what I'm saying? With all that when they was on Jive.
Angie.
You know what I'm saying? Angie and all that stuff. But
Shout
it
out
was like,
Angie.
but it was like it's like this. Myth Hits had a lot. When I tell you, from the early, like for example, I met Myth Hits because Myth Hits was just in a small closet-like office for L.A. Reid. This is before Quan. L.A. Reid was working on an album. Well, he was like, look, I'm going to give you 3 songs, Myth Hits, because you're an upcoming A&R. I don't have it on this group. If you can get these records done, bro, on this group, I'll give you a small budget. I'll let you work this because we kind of getting to the end of it. We got to figure this shit out.
Period.
The group was the Youngbloods. The
Whoa,
3 songs
damn.
that Myth Hits brought to the table was Damn
Damn.
and the 2 records we did on there. Myth Hits had found our CD through our manager sitting on his table, and he listened to it and he was like, I can get these motherfuckers for cheap on my budget and do it. When I met Myth, he flew us down to Atlanta. We did the 2 songs with the Youngbloods. One of them ended up on, what soundtrack was that? With Ice Cube did a movie. It was a fast race car movie. I can't think of the name of the movie back then. But Ice Cube was in it. It was a movie. One of the songs we did for Youngbloods was on that. You know what I'm saying? And then Damn was another one. And another one was just an album cut. Myth, through that time, I had Quan. He was like, what else you working on? I was like, man, I got this little dude. At that time, Quan had moved in with me. I was like, I got this little dude. Myth came to St. Louis like, let me hear the records. We played for him about 4 records. One of them was Hood Hop. He's like, man, I love this little motherfucker, dog. He's like, bro, I love this crazy little motherfucker. And Myth is the one who connected all the dots at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the one.
Torque.
Torque. That's it. Torque. That was the movie. That was the movie. You know what I'm saying?
I never saw that.
Like Myth Hits is the one who put all that together. When it came to Jaquan, Myth was the one who went in that office with L.A. Reid and fought. He had never signed nobody. He fought like, no, I believe in this situation. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
He's also the one who believed in Tipsy. You know what I'm saying? He's the one who was like,
Shout out Myth Hits.
and guess what? What I was saying about Fate, if Hood Hop would have came out first, it never would have been a Tipsy.
Oh wow.
Because remember I told you the label folded. If Hood Hop wouldn't grab no traction, Tipsy never makes it out, and it never happened.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So you like when you look at when you
works
look at Fate and how things play out, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you could pick one thing out of Tipsy that you feel made it go overboard and made it blow like that, what would you think it would be? Because I got an idea what really hooked me definitely back then when it first came out. Because it was like, shh.
Like
I just want to know your personal opinion.
like with Tipsy was so many, like I can remember so many things about it. Like, for example, when the drum came in, the drum pattern, I always loved the grinding drum pattern from the clips. That boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that. And then also what people don't understand is I spun the beat backwards. But then something else people don't know. With all those pitch shifts in the hi-hat, I was the first ever to do that. If you listen to the Tipsy hi-hat, it goes in there. And I did that with the MPC 3000 with this little 16 levels button you use, and you can hit the pads and switch the actual pitches shift on there. Like nobody was doing that back then. But also with Tipsy is the main thing that really worked with Tipsy was, and I still believe in this with all these records, the first time you heard it, you could remember the hook. You never had to go back and
What'd he
study
say?
the record. The
Yep.
simplicity of the record is what made it complex.
Simple and repetitive.
Yeah, like the 1, and then comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Like you remember, like everybody knows that. Even with Shaboozey, who's doing that right now on his new country record, like it's blowing up because the simplicity of that record.
right.
Like sometimes the stars and the moons and everything line up and you get those records. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can remember, like I tell everybody, like it's certain records in your life, when you hear them, you can remember that time. You know what I'm saying? You can remember those type of times in them records.
That's
So
what's
we
up.
want to get into some ratchet shit.
Ratchet.
We've been talking a lot about music and the production and stuff, of course. But, we want to get a little bit in your business. We want to play this thing called Smash or Pass. So we're going to drop some names, and we want to know, with Tar, smash or pass?
I pass on all of them. Fuck it. I pass. Let's just get to that right now. Pass. See, I know how to stay safe. Pass.
So this is in your early years without you having a woman or something.
Okay, come
This
on.
early years without a wife or any
You
of
talk
that.
about single Tarboy?
Single Tarboy.
Okay, let's roll.
The not
Alright.
humble Tarboy.
Yeah. So when it comes to St. Louis,
Oh shit! What the
shit.
Big Boss Vet, smash or pass?
Big Boss Vet?
You vet.
Smash.
Shout out you fat baby. Mwah.
Beauty time.
All right, Tiffany Fox.
Smash.
All right, outside of St. Louis, Michelle Obama.
See, now this is disrespect. I just can't do that, dog. See, this is the catch-22.
Michelle is a baddie.
If I say pass, then it's like, oh, you disrespecting Michelle Obama. But if I say smash, it's like, oh, you disrespecting Michelle Obama.
Obama.
So no matter what I say,
It's a problem.
Hey,
this is
I'm sorry, Barack. I'm slapping them cheeks.
Whoa.
smash, man.
Cut it up, bro.
You got smashed on it.
All right, Jada Pinkett.
Are we talking
What
what we know
Jada.
now?
What we know.
Low down dirty shot.
You might be, I would say that nowadays, Jada, you might want to pass.
Let's go
because
poetic
she
justice,
might be-
Jada.
Yeah.
Smash. Everybody, come on now. Everybody was smash poetic justice Jada. Like, let's
Yeah,
act, don't act like the Jada wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Will didn't pick that back in the day because it was a bad. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that
That
was
wasn't a
Jada.
bad pick.
Tiana Taylor.
Smash.
Lizzo.
This man right here.
One time for the big girls. One time for the big girl.
Listen,
I got one more.
Hold up, Lizzo.
here's the truth.
I got one more.
Here's the truth. I probably would smash back in the day Lizzo.
So speak up for the big girls. I hit me a chubby one too.
There. Listen, look. This is the truth, though. Everybody got something about them. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got something about them. Like, you never know how Lizzo is for real.
I got one for you. And I've been arguing this one for a long time. The video, Ladies Night, the Brat. Ladies Night, the Brat. Not
Smash. What the hell you talking about, dog? Allen Iverson wasn't wrong.
Hey, bro, when I see that in that video, bro, I was like,
man.
what? What?
Yeah, the brat be hiding all that body under the big
Yeah.
clothes.
What?
Y'all, you gotta understand, dog. There is beauty in every single fucking person on this planet.
What about Whoopsie then?
What?
Now, sometimes it take liquor. He said, "Whoopie."
Hold on, but you see how he flipped it? He says, but there's this liquor.
You got that bag.
Hey man, it's times when Whoopi didn't look alright. Now, don't act like
What
Whoopi.
she look alright at, toy boy?
I said times. I didn't say I know. I didn't say I know the times. I said it's the time.
When she looked this way one time,
I give it to her. Stella got her groove back. Okay, she wasn't
bad.
She wasn't bad.
Yeah, like she wasn't.
She wasn't
bro,
bad.
when I see Whoopi, I see color purple.
Yes, you do.
I can't
yes.
see it.
That's just because she played that part so well.
Hoppo.
Hey,
Shout
dog,
out to Whoopi. She
Money
a
can
black
clean.
queen.
Money can
Whoopi.
clean up anybody.
Yeah.
Money can.
It can.
I don't listen, dog.
Hey, it can.
Money can make it look different, bro.
Show can.
It can.
Like,
It
it
can
can,
for
like-
a lot of people.
Yeah, it can make it look different.
People-
dog.
You know,
Too long, so makes
it's
people
almost
look
like,
different.
if you find a woman that's so unique and so dope with her conversation, her brain, everything, and she a little ugly, you can go to Dr. Miami. You can.
Oh, then
You better go
Hey, I'm not
Right
gonna lie though,
after
dog.
Miami.
If you find a woman that's unique with her brain, dog, she don't look as ugly no more.
She don't.
Yeah, it no, for real. Like she doesn't look like I didn't see them all bad, ugly, all that. Like,
Yeah.
and some of the ones you think is bad when they open their mouth, you like, man, you
They
ugly as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
You know what I'm
absolutely
saying?
right.
Some of them you might be like, she ain't that attractive. Might be like, damn, it's a cool motherfucker.
And
You know
she
what I'm
fine
saying?
as hell just
yeah,
because of
like
everything else.
when you
Yeah.
open your mouth, it can change the way you look. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
absolutely
It
correct.
happened a lot.
So these days, what is Tarboy working on? What you got going, man? Like are you rocking out with any other artists right now? Are you fucking with the-
Listen. I rock out. It's a lot of things that I have in the bag. Let me say that. But I don't like to bring them up until they ready. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to speak on, like, I'm not the type of person to come out here and say, yeah, I'm working with blah, 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 I'm doing this, I'm doing that, because all y'all gonna go look for it, and it's not ready yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I have a bunch of artists that I'm really fond of that I'm working with, and when the time is right, you know what I'm saying, those artists are making a name for themselves on their own. It won't be because I'm the one, like, I will be there beside them, but I'll make sure they can stand on their own.
Super dope. So before we get out of here, because we got a couple minutes left, can you please give us your social media for everybody, please?
Tarboy Williams everywhere. Except for
Tarboy
Twitter.
Williams.
Except for Twitter,
everywhere.
it's just Tarboy.
Except for Twitter.
Except for Twitter, y'all.
Except for Twitter, it's
Yeah, and quick thing. So if I was an up and coming artist, you know, and I was looking to work with somebody of your caliber, would you be interested in working with somebody that maybe never had a name? You know, because you got like 20
I'm
Grammys.
always interested in
Okay.
working with people that don't have a name.
Awesome.
But here's the problem. I can't work with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like you have to get my attention. And when I say get my attention, it's always not musically. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times your work ethic, you know what I'm saying, your consistency. Sometimes just the way you approach somebody like me can get you. And I'm not just saying this for me, I'm saying this for other producers. Like, it's been artists that just sat down and had a conversation with me, and I was like, I'm gonna work with you, bro. You kind of see what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand, like, a lot of times we humans, so we in different moods at different times too. So you might bump into me when I'm not in a mood to really work with me. Like, music is what I do, but a lot of times when you bump into people like me, our minds might be somewhere else, so we don't catch who you are at that moment. That don't mean stop.
Right.
That don't mean stop saying nothing. It might be the next time I'll be like, dog, let's meet. Let me rock with you. You
That's
know what
right.
I'm saying? And a lot of times you got to remember this too. Artists, I will work with you if you don't have nothing going on. But whatever your free resources are that you're not using to a T, I won't work with you if you ain't using that. Meaning your social media free. That don't cost nothing.
Share my
You know
life.
what I'm saying? He said, everything you're doing with yourself can show me that you in it for real. One thing I do not work with is lazy, dependent artists.
Right.
Entitled.
Meaning this,
Legend.
Free.
I got two things I always say. You either a backpack where I gotta carry you, or you gonna pack your luggage and you gonna come with me.
That's right.
I'm not carrying you.
I thought you were gonna say purse.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like a lot of artists, if you working hard enough, people gonna see you, especially today. We gonna find you. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me you got a hot record. It ain't like all you can ever have is a good record.
Right.
Your record ain't hot to a bunch of fans say your record hot.
That's right.
So at that point, I know you got a hot record.
Period.
Yeah, you'll know it.
Yeah, you'll know
You'll
it.
know
Like,
it.
you'll
Well,
know it.
first of all, we want to thank you for coming out to
Appreciate
Rock the
it,
Room
man. Appreciate it.
Podcast.
Legend.
Super legend.
St.
You know,
Louis
I'm
legend.
so honored to have you in here, you know, and I want to also give a shout out to my sponsors, Lefty
Fire.
and Luxury Leaf Dispensary. I don't have their merch up
Gas.
here right now, but it's definitely that gas.
But we have their stuff in our system.
We got it in our system.
Definitely in the system.
And, you know, it's definitely been an honor and a privilege to have you, and thank you for coming.
Shout
And I
out to
appreciate
our
it.
boy.
I
Legend,
appreciate
Toy
it,
Boy,
man.
baby.
Tarboy
Have
in the
me
building.
back anytime.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Hey, this is Tarboy Williams, and I'm live at Rock the Room Podcast. It ain't rock unless you in the room.
Hey.
That's right.
Yeah, what's the word? Fuck what you heard. We don't talking dirty. Ain't no yapping, won't be holding back. That ain't all the word. Taking it dirt, ain't no playing fair. Watch some shit emerge. Playing it true, don't know what them lame gon' do, but I come through and I'ma rock the room. Rock the room, rock the room, rock the room, rock the room. I'ma rock the room, rock the room. saying really, they ain't saying nothing. Tryna get my time, but I feel like you playing with me. You ain't talking about paying nothing. My plane coming, keep me a 5 in my hand luggage. You can't land with me. Got something to say, hope you stand on it. Talking, bet you won't throw hands with me. I threw it all on the line, now I got mine. Look at the way that I shine. I book a table for one by the boy, I go all out. That's just the way that I dine. Ain't taking losses, crew full of bosses. Stay on the grind, one day at a time. Make me an offer, and I pay it some mine. What's the word?